California, as you know, they just issued this statewide mandate for wearing a mask, but Yolo County's been doing this kind of for a while now, for I would say like the majority of this. Have you guys, I'm interested, first of all, in the enforcement. How have you been enforcing this with people wearing masks?
So our face covering order went into effect on April 24th. And so we've had this health order for at least a couple months now. And in terms of enforcement, we are not citing the individual person who, is like walking down the street or going into a store that's not wearing a face covering. However, we are expecting businesses, activities, to enforce the order, to ensure that there is signage that's up in their location that says you do need to wear a face covering, to provide information to the guest if they continue to not wear a face covering. And, if someone goes somewhere and is not wearing a face covering, they may not be able to enter. So if they try to go into a grocery store, for example, and not wear a face covering, they might not be able to get in. Or if they want to go to a county building or a city building, a government building, they may not be able to get in and use those services. So we're really trying to create this atmosphere where face coverings is sort of the norm, that you are expected to wear one. We haven't cited anybody yet. For the most part, everybody has been, I think, pretty good about wearing a face covering. You're always going to have a few people who don't want to wear a face covering. We provide them the information, and for the most part, that's good enough. We do have a couple of exceptions. So if you have a doctor's note, it somehow impedes your breathing, or for children that are under 2, they don't need to wear one. But if there are children that are 3 to 12, we do recommend that they do wear one with adult supervision.
We've seen that Yolo County recently had a spike in or an uptick in cases. I'm interested, with what's your reaction there with the mask mandate, or do you think those are related to potentially, gatherings for UC Davis or high school celebrations? I'm just curious about what your feedback is there.
So we did have a spike in the last week of confirmed cases, and we did our contact investigations, our contact tracing. And what we've learned so far is that the majority of these cases actually came from social gatherings. So meeting out with friends, meeting out with family, with the warmer weather, the holiday that's coming up, people are getting a little bit lax. They want to see each other. They think, hey, let's, meet up for a gathering. And during these situations, they're likely not social distancing. They're probably in close contact. They're hugging each other. They may be kissing each other. And so the majority of the cases have come from that. The other half of the cases have also come from travel. So as other states are opening up, other countries, people are taking advantage of that. And in these other areas, their health orders may be very different. What they expect the public to do may be very different. So they're going to these other counties or states or countries, contracting COVID, and then bringing it back to Yolo County. So the rise in our confirmed cases lately have been from social gatherings where social distancing is not being enforced, where people may not be wearing a face covering, and also through travel. It has been important in our education to the community to be very transparent about the reason why face coverings are important. I think people need to see and hear about the health impacts, how it really does protect the community, and to constantly reshare this message. So every week, we're talking about this in our daily briefings. We're putting out social media posts. We're working with our cities. It's really important to have that partnership where they're also saying the same message as the county. So then everybody kind of sees the same content and the same importance of face coverings. So we've seen that has been a really big lesson learned. Also, you are going to get people that don't want to wear a face covering, that feel like it impedes on their rights as a person. But, as long as we keep pushing that, yes, this really is for your health, this is really for the benefit of your community, that it's been pretty helpful, but it has been a little bit interesting getting here. But everybody, for the most part, I would say, has embraced face coverings in YOLO.